That sound is so similar to the Half-Life 2 crowbar hitting thing sound effect. Anyways, welcome back to some more Portal. This is my second session of Portal 2, and debatably my favorite part of the entire game, because this is like the best comedic writing in the game, and also the part that I feel like has the most structure and is like actually very Portal-y. This just reminds me so much of the first game. It's probably why I enjoy this part. It's also very Half-Life 2-y. Reminds me of when you're going through Nova Prospect. Maybe that was intentional by Valve. I couldn't tell you. I don't work at Valve, but you know, I just really, really enjoy this part. I think it's something to do with the atmosphere. I think it's also something to do with a certain somebody who we're gonna be introduced to in a few moments. But yeah, this is the part of the game where I stop complaining every 2 minutes, because I think it's actually well written and very fun and funny. Not a huge fan of these parts where you're just kind of looking for things to shoot to, but it's not a bad part. I actually think this is the part that really saves Portal 2, in my opinion, is just this next bit. But I think it's something to do with the atmosphere. This just reminds me so much of Half-Life 2, probably for the better. But hey, at least I'm not comparing it to Quake. I mean, I'm jumping around like in Quake, but that's not very Quake-y. We're not seeing any ogres with grenade launchers and chainsaw hands and, you know, fiends ripping your skin off, but you know, we get to see the magic that is the bits of Portal 2 I quite like. And I think this part's very odd. It just tells you to pull a lever, but, you know, that's why I think that's also why this reminds me of Half-Life so much. You're just pulling switches and things happen. But still, man, I still think this is the best part of the game. Just for so many objective reasons. I think it's just, I don't know. The gameplay is really satisfying in this part. Seek air pockets. Just, I don't know. I also think this right here is a pretty cool sequence. Like, it's like, oh man, we're gonna do some serious business. And it really gives you a sense of scale. I think that's something. I'm gonna adjust my mic a bit. There we go. I don't like talking that high up. I got an arm stand in case you guys forgot, but it's just weird. Sometimes I put it too high because I don't have it down all the time. So I always feel like my mic position's slightly off. In a good way, though. It's nice, because I used to have it on my desk, and I used to do this, and you could hear my hand hit the table. I like this. It's just this giant... like, this is a funny joke. I genuinely think that's a funny joke. And it's... in my opinion, this is what makes this whole part. This is very fun. And I think this is where I consider, in my internal headcanon and my own enjoyment of the game, this is where I feel like Portal 2 is Portal 2. Like, right here. Right now. This is where I just suck the game off so much that my mouth is so full of the gooey white stuff that, you know, I don't know, I can't say much, but I make the grapefruits, you know, technique sound effect, wearing some Victoria's Secret shit, watching some Boku anime, I don't know. Something happens to me in this part. I really like it. It's just eerie and foreboding and dangerous. Everything feels big. Like, I like this. It's very... this is what I mean. This feels like it's the actual developed by Valve part of the game. And everything else just feels kind of half-assed after this. Because right here is where the game gets good. Warriors, Olympians.
Who is ready to make some science? I am. Now, you already met one another on the limo ride over, so let me introduce myself. I'm Cave
Johnson. I own the place.
That eager voice you heard is the lovely Carolyn, my assistant. Rest assured, she has transferred your honorarium to the charitable organization of your choice. Isn't that right, Carolyn?
Yes, sir, Mr. Johnson.
She's the backbone of this facility. Pretty as a postcard, too. Sorry, fellas.
She's made to science. I'm not even looking at the subtitles. I just love that line.
There's 1,000 tests performed every day here in our enrichment spheres. I can't personally oversee every one of them, so these pre-recorded messages will cover
beautiful
any
man.
questions you might have and respond to any incidents that may occur in the course of your
Science adventure.
Your test assignment will vary depending on the manner in which you have bent the world to your will. Those of you helping us test the repulsion gel today, just follow the blue line on the floor. Those of you who volunteered to be injected with praying mantis DNA, I've got some good news and some bad news. Bad news is we're postponing those tests indefinitely. Good news is we've got a much better test for you. Fighting an army of mantis men. Pick up a rifle and follow the yellow line. You'll know when the test starts.
There's just something about Cave Johnson, I think, that saves Portal 2. And I know that's really sad, but I know I'm not the only person that thinks this. I think Cave Johnson is just a fun character. He feels like a very Valve character, if that makes sense. Like, you could... Well, I mean, technically they take place in the same time period, yes. But, like, I could see Cave Johnson, you know, shit-talking, like, at, like, Eli Vance or, you know, Gordon Freeman. I could totally see that in my internal headcanon of these characters. That's how, like, good I genuinely think that Cave Johnson was handled. I think, well, I mean, I'm not 100% an accurate, smart person when it comes to comedic writing, obviously, but I feel like he's just handled very well, and he's genuinely funny, whereas other characters like Wheatley just try too hard to be funny, and it just comes off as annoying. And I know I'm not the only person that thinks that, thankfully, but I mean, it's still, there is lines in the game that are genuinely funny. I get giggles out of some of the things, but it's just, I think Cave is just the best. Cave just makes this game
great
fun.
Science is built on the shoulders of giants. Not here.
I like this line
Amateur,
too.
we do all our science from scratch.
No hand-holding. I don't know why. I know the joke there is we do everything from scratch, no hand-holding. It's just something about the delivery of it just sounds funny. Like, he was just nailed as a character. I feel like if all the writing was Cave Johnson, I would have loved this game 10 times more. It would actually be funny. I mean, humor is subjective, but there's just some things that aren't that funny. But I like this.
This first test involves something the lab boys call repulsion gel. You're not part of the control group, by the way. You get the gel. Last poor son of a gun got blue paint. All joking aside, that did happen. Broke every bone in his legs. Tragic, but informative. Or so I'm told.
And now, I think this is where, to me, Portal 2 really... It's like I said, it just feels like what I think Portal 2 was trying to be. Like the humor, the music.
Informed me that I should not have mentioned the control group.
I'm gonna turn my volume up a bit.
Stop making these pre-recorded messages.
There we go.
That gave me an idea. Make more pre-recorded messages. I pay the bills here. I can talk about the control group all damn day.
I just think there's something about this part of the game that feels like it has the most structure too. Like, I know that this game is well designed in a lot of aspects, and I won't completely deny that Portal 2 is still a good game, but it's parts like these where you just get to have fun with a physics engine and explore and do, you know, this kind of weird stuff. I like that.
A billion little gizmos that are going to travel into your bloodstream and pump experimental genes and RNA molecules and so forth into your tumors. Now, maybe you don't have any tumors. Well, don't worry. If you sat on a folding chair in the lobby and weren't wearing lead underpants, we took care of that too.
I hate to say it. I mean, Cave Johnson he makes this game funny. And I also like the little touch of the dynamic music when you use the gels, where it affects the soundtrack. I think that's a really cute touch. This is why I say Portal 2 is a great game. It's just, there's so much missing potential that just makes me not like it as much as I wish I did. Oh shit. I even like the feel of this, how it's supposed to be a very old, rundown 60s science facility, and it gives backstory to an area in the game. I like that. That's good design. That is what I would call good design. And it's charming, you know? It's why I really like Portal 2 in some aspects, because this is the stuff I think of when I think of Portal 2. These really cool, fun little, you know, physics tests that we can just demonstrate right here. Like, oh cool, I can jump back and forth on this gel stuff, and then you get to see that it can affect forward and sideways momentum. Unfortunately, this is never explored ever again in the main game. And that's kind of a damn shame because I feel like the gel mechanics were really, really cool. I know some people are against these because we'll see in a few minutes, but at the same time, I just think this was a really fun part. This is what I mean. This is fun. This is what I wished Portal 2 was. And I know I can complain about that all the time, but it's kind of true, man. It's like, this is what the game, I feel like, was trying to be, but just didn't end up being. And I knew that was going to happen. If you're like 1 inch off on these, they're really scripted. You can totally botch yourself, which sucks, but, you know, I can forgive it. Essentially, it's just an effect on the floor. I like this. This line just is good.
Do not get covered in the repulsion gel. We haven't entirely nailed down what element it is yet, but I'll tell you this,
It's a lively one.
And it
Does not like the human skeleton. I see, this is what I mean. I think Cave is a well-written character because he doesn't come off as trying to be funny. He's just stating dumb facts. Kind of like GLaDOS, you know? And I think that's one of the reasons why people like him as a character, is he's more of a human being.
Asbestos, by the way.
I also like this part.
Let us know if you feel a shortness of breath, a persistent dry cough, or your heart stopping. Because that's
not part of the test. That's asbestos.
Good news is the lab boys say the symptoms of asbestos poisoning show a median latency of 44.6 years. So if you're 30 or older, you're laughing. Worst case scenario, you miss out on a few rounds. I like
punch that number in my calculator, it makes a happy face.
Just like me. Bean counter said I couldn't fire a man just for being in a wheelchair. Did it anyway. Ramps are expensive.
I love that. I know people will be like, "Oh, that's an ableist joke. You can't make that," but it's still a funny joke. But this is where most people get like really annoyed with the gel mechanics, because I've seen people complain about this, and I think it is kind of stupid too. It's like, okay, just paint the environment with what you need. That is admittedly not the greatest design. I'm not even going to pretend to say that's good design, because it's not. It's 100% not. Like, oh shit, that's probably not going to make it work. There we go. But you just want to make sure you get a lot of it everywhere, because there's 2 different like particle effects for this. So if it's just a tiny splotch, it doesn't count enough. Like these edges right here, those don't count to the game that that's actually a surface. So, oh shit, like right there, you can see what I mean. This is something I don't like either, is it is a bit finicky with where you can shoot the gel. And I mean, that's just me being shit, I guess. The gel doesn't slow your momentum down, which I think is also really nice. Like, that's a cute mechanic, I think. So then we just gotta do this. And then this is also the other problem I have is, okay, where do we shoot the gel? Okay, it goes over here, neat. And then you just sort of go with it, I guess. Like, to me, that is a cool idea. Like, right here, this is really cool. I like these ideas.
That coffee we gave you earlier had fluorescent calcium in it, so we can track the neuronal activity in your brain. There's a slight chance the calcium could harden and vitrify your frontal lobe. Anyway, don't stress yourself thinking about it. I'm serious. Visualizing the scenario while under stress actually triggers the reaction.
But yeah, I like the idea of the gels because it makes the player think, and I think this is actually a really well integrated kind of idea into the gameplay of Portal as well. Because, I mean, most people know the joke.
If you're part of Control Group Kepler-7, we implanted a tiny microchip about the size of a postcard into your skull. Most likely you've forgotten it's even there. But if it starts vibrating and beeping...
And so here we introduce water. I think this is the only time in the game you actually see water, which is odd. But it is interesting nonetheless. But, yeah, I mean... I already forgot what I was saying. It's been a weird week for me, but, yeah, I mean, the water is interesting, but this is also why I don't like this puzzle. This is also the only time this ever happens in the game, right here. Which is strange, because it's never anywhere else. And I don't know why they put it in the game. It was just kind of there. I think the only reason I even know about that is because there's a line going to it there. Other than that, I don't think that's atrocious.
Telling them, keep your pants on. All right, this next test may involve trace amounts of time travel. So, word of
I
advice,
do.
if you meet yourself on the testing track, don't make eye contact. Lab boys tell me that'll wipe out time. Entirely.
Forward and back.
backward. So, do both of yourselves a favor.
See, I gotta wait for
and
this
let
stuff to
that handsome
coat.
devil
That's
go about his business.
kind of a thing I don't like, but it's excusable. I mean, so you could just do this, and then you just shoot the gel everywhere. But obviously the fact that the gel has to be in specific spots is pretty annoying, I guess, but still, it's not the worst. I mean, I can think of more annoying things. So, here we go. And now I think, I like the idea that, I don't know if anyone's ever, well, there's probably someone that's thought of this, God, I hope, that's realized that the colors of the gels are also the same colors as the portals. I mean, whether or not that was intentional is kind of pointless, you know, but it's still kind of cool. I like that. And it's also a nice, clever metaphor, or, well, not metaphor, foreshadowing device for what happens. Ah, damn it, I keep messing this up and trying to go too quickly. It is a good, like, foreshadowing for later on in the plot, which I like. I mean, it's not the greatest foreshadowing ever, but it's still really cool. I like it. I guess if I had any complaint, though, is it's just the gel doesn't get really used after this. And I mean, it does, I guess, at the end of the game, but at the same time, it's just... I wish they incorporated it more into the puzzles, and when they... Oh, son of a bitch. When they do, it's very minor. It's not as prominent, and I think that's kind of a detriment because it was such a cool mechanic. And I remember, like, this seems really daunting when I first played the game because I'm like, oh crap, now I actually have to think, but it doesn't really get used all that much. And it was kind of a big marketing gimmick, and I know you can say, well, Seth, there's like 150 user maps, and I'm like, yeah, that's true. But here's the thing, Doom Eternal, great game.
You're taking a long time on the catwalks between tests. The lab boys say that might be a fear reaction.
Oh, I was wrong, there's water right here.
But coming from a bunch of eggheads who wouldn't recognize the thrill of danger if it had walked up and snapped their little pink bras, that sounds like projection. They didn't fly into space, storm a beach, or bring back the gold. No, sir, we did. It's you and me against the world, son. I like your grit. Hustle could use some work, though. Now let's solve this thing.
Let's solve this thing. I just love Cave. Anyways, it's like Doom Eternal, fantastic game. The modifier maps, fantastic. They're cool. DLC, fantastic. Like, actually, no, let's take Doom 2016. So Doom 4, alright. Doom 4, not a bad game at all. Great game. Would I play the user maps? No, because Snap Map was terrible. Doom 1 and 2, fantastic user-made content. Would I keep playing them? Yes. Because they're good. And is the base game good? Yes, absolutely. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just something about Portal 2 just... There's no incentive for me to want to go back and play, like, user-generated maps, because at the end of the day, they're just going to fall into a certain category of types of maps. They're going to be, like, gimmick maps. It's kind of the same thing with why I don't like Mario Maker. I just don't feel like that kind of game design's good. I love this line. In fact, why not a special safety door that won't hit you on the butt? Why not? Because you're fired.
Yes, you. Box your stop. Out the
Front door, parking car. Goodbye. I'm drinking iced coffee, if you're curious. Most of my beverages are usually iced coffee or hot coffee. Usually I drink Folgers, if you're ever curious, because I'm very, very disgusting.
Congratulations! The simple fact that you're standing here listening to me means you've made a glorious contribution to science. As founder and CEO of Aperture Science, I thank you for your participation and hope we can count on you for another round of tests. We're not going to release this stuff into the wild until it's good and damn ready, so as long as you keep yourself in top physical form, there'll always be a limo waiting for you. Say goodbye, Carolyn.
Goodbye, Carolyn. She's a gem. I do like Carolyn as a character and how she relates later on in the story. But that's also because I'm a very simple-minded person. I'm like, oh, that's cool, I guess. I don't know. I like the quote-unquote surprise, I guess. I just think it wasn't needed, but it is funny. Because it's like, yeah, okay, she's... Well, we'll get to that later, won't we? I enjoy a lot of Portal 2. I just think... Oh god, I forgot completely for like 2 seconds here. You see, this is also why I don't like Portal 2's design, because it's like, okay, what do I do here? Okay, there's the things I could shoot portals on, and I just forgot for like 10 seconds. Still a nice test, but not hard or anything of that nature. Just figure out what you can and can't hit. Alright, now we get the orange gel, which sadly doesn't get used nearly as... It's like I said, gel just didn't get used nearly as much as I wish it did. And now, more of the same sort of stuff we've been doing, sadly, which is just kind of half-assing...
Greetings, friend. I'm Cave Johnson, CEO of Aperture Science.
Beard dirt.
You might know us as a vital participant in the 1968
stuff.
Senate hearings on missing astronauts. And you've most likely used one of the many products we invented, but that other people have somehow managed to steal from us. Black Mesa can...
Aww.
You're good at murder. Could you... Oh, thanks. Did you feel that? That
No.
idiot doesn't know what he's doing up there. This whole place is going to explode in a few hours if
Good.
somebody doesn't disconnect him. I can't move, and unless you're planning to saw your own head off and wedge it into my old body, you're going to need me to replace him. We're at an impasse. So what do you
Yeah.
say? You carry me up to him and put me back into my body, and I stop us from blowing up and let you go. You stabbed me. What is wrong with you? Oh, do you have a multimeter? Never mind. The gun must be part magnesium. It feels like I'm outputting an extra half a volt. Keep an eye on me. I'm going to do some scheming. Here I go.
So yeah, now we have glad potatoes.
How long have I been out? That extra half volt helps, but it isn't going to power miracles. If I think too hard, I'm going to fry this potato before we get a chance to burn up in the atomic...
Anyways, yeah, she just basically says, I'm part potato, I can't do much, I'm just kind of here. Now, I think this is also a really... This is why I say I feel like...
Did anything happen while I was out?
Oh, is it?
Testing area is just up ahead.
Oh, that's right.
The quicker you get through, the quicker you'll get your $60.
I know.
Carolyn, are the compensation vouchers ready?
Yes, sir, Mr. Johnson. Why did I just... Who is that?
What the hell
going
is...
on?
Now you see, I mean, this isn't even a very hard plot twist. Plot twist, Carolyn is GLaDOS, GLaDOS is Carolyn. I mean, I think anybody with a full functioning brain could probably figure that out pretty quickly with just that one line. But, you know, some people a little slower than others. You're not gonna judge. But, I mean, I got it the first time I played the game, too. I was like, oh, that's cool, I guess. Oh, shit, this is the only part I hate. I will forget every single portal I have. And now I gotta do that again. But I do like the orange gel. This is probably because I think it looks good. And that's probably just me being, you know, me. But it's true. I just like the color a lot better, which is sad. Oh god, I thought that thing stayed on. That was my complaint. I think... No, I just screwed up. That's all there is to it. I have been a little out of it today. And that's also because of, like, something at work that happened a few days ago. And, bottom line, it sucked. And, yeah. So let's just pretend that didn't happen, shall we? Anyways. But, I mean, I'm fine. I'm not, like, ill or anything. It's just, there we go. I'm just super tired. Anyways, I definitely like this as a writing mechanic because it implies that GLaDOS and Shell work together. And that's... Are you shitting me, man? I did this twice now. Okay, anyways. I like this as a writing device. And it's just good because it's cliche. Like, the villain has to help the good guy, whatever. You know, it's fine. It's fine that it's cliched. But it works well because you feel the development of the two as characters, I guess. Even though Shell is basically like, you know, Gordon and that she has no personality. The personality you give her is what she gets. But yeah, I think personally, you know, this part of the game I think is just where I say Portal 2 is really Portal 2. It becomes more of an actual puzzle game, and you know, the characters are more fleshed out. They're just better all around, I think. And I guess I'm just the bad guy for saying it, but you know, that's just my opinion, man. I think this was a better part of the game than the actual game itself. And that's kind of my honest to God feeling about it, you know. I wish Portal 2 was just like this the entire game. And it kind of makes me sad that it wasn't, because like, these kinds of tests are cool. They make you rely on momentum, remembering where your portals are. Oh, also, what the hell?
We just need to relax. We're still going to find out what the hell's going on here, but calmly.
And there's Carolyn.
Those people in the portrait, they look so familiar.
There you go. Now you can see what GLaDOS would technically have looked like as a human, I guess. In theory. But... And now we get to finally mixing some paint sort of stuff. I actually like this puzzle. It's pretty clever, and I like the mechanics you have to use to it, so... Although it does kind of fall in line with, okay, here's the thing with the... Okay, I can use the splatty splat on this. Alright, cool, we gotta get that blue, and then we gotta get that orange. I get where people are coming from. I really do. I still think, personally, this is debatably a dumb part, because it makes you have to go, okay, I can make this colored this. It does make the player have to, like, learn, like, the mechanics of this as well. This fucking Nickelodeon orange slime, you know, whatever the hell you want to call it. Because it does make you go, okay, cool, now I gotta put that there, do this. It's kind of tedious because, I mean, granted, I'm playing this, like, the third time in, like, about a week or so. So it's... Obviously, the gimmick is kind of worn thin on me, but at the same time, I still really like it. I think, you know, it's a cool mechanic. And we'll do that, I guess. Damn it, man. I screwed that up. Like I said, I'm a little tired right now, so everything's not 100% up to snuff with me. Okay, here we go. I just love these colors. I think they chose the appropriate coloration for the gels. I really do. See, I like portals, like, puzzles like that are great. I like that. That's fun. We're gonna save the world.
Hey, listen up down there. That thing's called an elevator, not a bathroom.